Barry Jackson, the Miami Herald, reported after this all came out yesterday that the Dolphins would explore a trade for Jonathan Taylor, which kind of surprised me because we hear all the time how much they love their running back room. I know that Devon Achane is out week to week with a shoulder injury, but it was all the Dalvin Cook stuff, and they had a number for Dalvin Cook that was a modest number that was just kind of there, and they were very restrained, and they were very disciplined in not overpaying potentially Dalvin Cook. So why would they jump in with both feet for Jonathan Taylor? That surprised me, that the Dolphins would be the first team that we heard linked to the possibility of trading for Jonathan Taylor.
Hey, the Dolphins are aggressive. They're in it to win it. They got one of the best rosters in football. They look at it and go,
They don't have a 24-game preseason winning streak.
No, they're not of that status yet. They got some work to do. I mean, that's special spot right there. But I mean, they're ready. So they're looking for anything that they feel like can push them over the edge or just give them that little extra oomph, right? But the other thing one, it's Mike McDaniel. We know how important the running game is to him coming from Shanahan. And then I think, two, the other thing, you mentioned the injury to Achane, or I never say his name the right way. Achane, excuse me. And then I think on top of that, if you really look at Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, they've been injured a lot over the last few years. And I'm sure that scares the Miami Dolphins to death. You know, Mostert, Wilson, they're almost, they're smaller running backs. They're almost like track athlete type of guys. So they have been dinged up a lot. They do miss 2 or 3 or 4 games here or there every year, maybe more than that sometimes. And I think that's probably what's scaring the Dolphins and getting them into this, Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook type of conversation with teams.
We were originally going to go through all 31 teams. I don't think we need to do that.
No, we
don't. I think we just need to be realistic about where we are right now. Because by the time you make the investment of the draft pick or picks or players or whatever the final deal would be with the Colts, and you make the investment financially in Jonathan Taylor, the end result is going to be you have made a move that puts you in a position where this guy becomes the centerpiece of your offense now. This guy becomes the straw that stirs the drink. Who in the hell is in a position to do that in late August? I'm looking at the list that Courtney put together of all the names, of all the running backs on all the teams. Who is going to say right now, we were going to go with an offense that is kind of run through the quarterback, and we have a revolving door of running backs, and we like what they can do, and they're reasonably priced, and they're complimentary, and we've got our money spent on our quarterback and our receivers. Oh, you know what we're going to do? Here's what we're going to do. In late August, we're going to just throw that out the window, and we're going to give a draft pick and a bunch of money to a guy that's going to come in, and we're just going to be ground and pound now.
Yeah,
We're just going to be
right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
No.
It makes no sense. Unless, the Steelers are secretly disenchanted with Najee Harris and they could trade him to the Colts. That would be a way to work this out if you're the Colts. If you come out of this with another running back, maybe that's the answer. But who out there is in a position, August 22, to say, we'll give you our RB1 for your RB1 and maybe an extra third-round pick or something. That's not an August conversation. That's a March conversation.
No, I agreed with you there. The other running back thing is interesting too, because I do think the Colts will have a need at the position regardless here. And then, I come back to looking at the teams. You're spot on with everything you said. And the teams that I really look at and you go, oh, they could use them a little bit. They're teams that are like in a transition year where you go, they're not in the window anyways. You really think they're going to go, oh, hey, as we want to rebuild our team, we're going to give away assets and money to a guy that we're in the process of rebuilding? I look at Carolina and go, oh, okay, Carolina could use him. Hell, the Rams could use him. They definitely could. The Cardinals, right? It's teams like that where you look at it and go, there's a definite need. He would be a tremendous upgrade. But they're all teams that are going, I don't think they all are looking at this year as the year. I look at one team, Mike, to where it makes sense, where the actual, your team is in a window and pretty damn legit, and it would make sense. Okay, and the one team that I look at
I'm listening.
is this
I'm listening.
the Los
I'm
Angeles
intrigued.
Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Ooh.
I look at that with that offensive line, right? You got Kellen Moore, came from Dallas, right? And now you couple that with Justin Herbert and the passing game and all that there. You know, I've got a lot of respect for Austin Eckler, but that would be a tremendous
What do you do with
upgrade.
Eckler? What do you do with Eckler?
Well, maybe that's where you get
Eckler?
into, hey, Colts, would you trade for him? You want him? He'll help you out right now.
So wait. So you go from one unhappy running back in the last year of his contract to another unhappy running back.
I was just
the guy
throwing
that
out
started all this back in March. The guy that
That started the
tried to
combo?
get a trade.
Right.
The guy that got permission to seek a trade and quickly realized there's no one out there that's going to give me what I want, so I'm going to love the one I'm with. I mean, there's an irony to this, and it bookends so well, and it makes me feel even more strongly there's not going to be a team that's going to give Jonathan Taylor what he wants.
No.
If there was no one to give Austin Eckler what he wanted in March when it should have happened for Taylor, how is somebody going to mobilize this thing in late August? But I like what you're saying. And Eckler's due to make, it's like $6.25 million, and they have a sweetener in there. That was what they did to kind of make him feel. But you know, and you know, from the Colts' perspective, if you're going to take on a running back as part of this, you don't want him to cost more than Taylor did, do you?
No,
because Eckler will.
I know. You don't. I wouldn't think, but it's not significantly more. You get rid of a headache, and then you do have a guy, you know, at the running back position where you go, hey, wait, this is dependable. He's dependable. He will fit the style in which we want to play, be in the shotgun, you know, run that offense we saw in Philadelphia with Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. That's where, like, you know, again, I came to going, ooh, it makes sense there for both sides, a little bit schematically, football-wise, and you get rid of some problems that are, you know, in your locker room. But, yeah, I know it's far-fetched. It's the only one I can even look at to go, that makes a little sense. But after that, it's a bunch of teams like we talked about that wouldn't be thinking of those type of moves because they're building for the future.
The one team for me.
Yeah.
Because they always seem to bubble up. Now, I would say the Rams, but no.
I know.
There's no reason for the Rams to
3
do
years
it.
ago, yes, right.
There's no reason for the Rams to go F them picks and go get Jonathan Taylor, and they had a bad experience with Todd Gurley. What about the Eagles? They're always kind of lurking around.
I know.
And when you look at their collection of running backs, there isn't a name that jumps off the page. But you know what? They could have just kept Miles Sanders. Now, maybe they look at Jonathan Taylor and say, and you know, they already traded for DeAndre Swift.
I know. That's
when the Lions drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, and Swift came out in that same draft as Jonathan Taylor, and maybe they're kicking themselves now. We went out and got Swift. Now, Swift's in a contract year, and they can just write it off. I mean, hell, they threw a 4th-round pick on Robert Quinn last year. It didn't work out. He's gone now. And they don't bat an eye about making a bad trade. They see an opportunity to make their team better. And last year, the 49ers get Christian McCaffrey, and we got to contend with the 49ers and McCaffrey this year. And there's all that talent in the AFC. If we could pull one of those great players over to the NFC, the Eagles are the one team that I would watch. Just because all the way back to Nnamdi Asomugha. Remember when they came out of nowhere to sign Nnamdi Asomugha right after the lockout in 2011? I just feel like the Eagles are always on the fringes, thinking of every angle and every way that they can show the rest of us how they've figured out this system, and they can pull off whatever they want to pull off.
Well, it's one of the few positions on their team where you look at and just go, oh, it's not a definite one of the best in the league, you know, position groups for the Eagles. You know, O-line, receivers, D-line, corners. You can all look at that. Quarterback, of course, you all go, hey, they're at the top of the league in that conversation. Running back, we talked about it last year, was kind of one of the weaker spots there. But they do got a lot of, you know, numbers there as far as players. And, you know, to your point there, you're right. We should keep them on the radar just for the fact of this conversation, and that, you know, they're there. They're ready right now. I mean, they would, you know, there's only so much money and players they can have on their football team to a degree as far as draft picks in the future and all that. So if they felt like this got them over the hump, it wouldn't be the worst idea. But I don't think that's going to happen either, just looking at it realistically.
And when you're getting all these great young players in the draft like Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter, and you don't have to pay them for multiple years, you can work the money around. And also,
it's icing on the cake. Yeah.
To the extent that Jonathan Taylor just wants to be loved, just wants to be appreciated, you put him on a high-end contender, maybe he will take less than what he would have wanted from anybody else. He sees a path out of Indy, a path to a contender, a path to a Super Bowl, playing with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. Are you kidding me?
I know.
And look, I mean, was anybody talking about the Eagles being in it for A.J. Brown? That's the thing about the Eagles. They're kind of like the Patriots in that respect. You never know what the hell they're going to do until they do it. And when they do it, you're like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. And so you're looking at the Chargers. I'm looking at the Eagles. I don't know who else would be in this. The Dolphins reportedly, but I look at the rest of the depth charts, and I don't think that there's anyone out there where it makes sense this time of year. And it may not have made sense in March. It definitely doesn't make sense now.
No, I'm with you there. I mean, yeah, we threw out, two teams and, that somewhat makes sense, but I don't know if that totally makes sense either. So I'll be interested to see where it goes. But, poor Jonathan Taylor, I feel for him. I really do. I feel for the running backs in this conversation. I understand the Colts side and all of that. There's a human element that I don't like here that just seems like mistreatment of employees that's bigger than the Colts. It's the NFL with this running back problem that I really don't like. We talk about, they're not valued and all that, but yet when somebody else, when they don't want to be there and they want to trade him, they go, well, we want a lot of value for that guy. But we don't think he's valuable to pay him, but we want a lot of value. And I just don't like that. And I know you and I will continue to stick up for them, but, man, he's in a tough spot right now.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.